Hello and welcome to our seventh session of the discipline series between carrot and stick. I'm sure in the previous sessions we have now escalated our indiscipline issues in the school, and as we are going towards solutions, we are also looking at intense cases of unruly and aggressive behavior. In the previous episode, we spoke about establishing foundations. So our 12 rules of disruptive behavior, 12 causes. We use our young case study Harry, our protagonist, and who started with mild behavioral problems until it became intense and acute. But as we talk about in this, we will talk about two more. So last time we spoke about 4 of the 12. Here we'll speak about 2 more, completing half of our indiscipline issues, the causes of disruptive behavior. So welcome to session 7 once again, and the topic for this session is eliminating disruptions. One simple way, as we go, these are bag of tricks as you go ahead. A teacher who's completely perplexed, completely tired and fatigued with indiscipline issues in a classroom can do something very effective and very ordinary. We call it numbered warnings. So when a child does something, all you do is, Alicia, this is number 2. This is a public warning that can be written with a board name or simple stroke, but what you're doing is you're telling her this is the second time. Alicia, this is third and final time. And as you number it, the child knows that he or she is caught in an area where they should not be. Or some teachers have done even better with the FIFA World Cup going on. What better technique than giving yellow and red cards? So all a teacher does is a yellow card. It's interesting, it's exciting, it's non-threatening, but also it's a warning sign to the child that now the next that card comes up is a red card, or 2 yellow cards as in FIFA football is accounting to 1 red card. Hopefully it will not come to that status. And then you're creating a very healthy atmosphere where teacher is able to express her intentions of a class discipline while not disrupting or humiliating a child. An effective technique in using this entire thing is called the LEAST technique. The acronym LEAST, L-E-A-S-T, stands for leave it alone. A lot of times, just not bothering about a problem is a solution in itself. It could be classroom conversations, it could be talking in the classroom. Today I was doing some rounds of the international school and I saw the class monitor asking his fellow classmates to put finger on the lips. And of course, as a child, I found it very unacceptable. It was not something that to my liking. And I asked this monitor of the class, why would you do that? And he says, that's what teachers make us do. So you see, this is an issue that only becomes like a snowball effect. So you leave it alone. You don't bother. You tell them, all I want is don't seal your lips, don't put finger on your lips. You be quiet and murmur rather than talk aloud. Number 2 is E. End the action indirectly. I didn't have to go and reprimand the teacher. All I did is next time a teacher says, why don't you just promise the teacher that we will not be shouting on the top of our voices? You ended the action indirectly. A is attend to it more fully. Believe me, there is no better technique than paying attention. The moment a teacher pays attention to a child's need, the discipline meter actually increases in the school, indiscipline decreases down. Number 4S is spell out directions. We will talk about that in great detail. You tell them exactly what and how you want it. And finally, T, as it track the behavior through records. So you have this numbered warning, you have written records, you actually are finding out any challenges or change in a child's behavior and personality. So believe me, this LEAST is just a small tip for you, but it's a very effective technique. It's a technique that was done by Ahrens in 1998, but still used today, almost 20 years, 2 decades later, very effective. Let's come to the core of today's discussion, task 2, which is called eliminating disruptions. How do I eliminate mild disruptions? And these are 2 friends we've got, Lucas and Will, from our Stranger Things. I think if you haven't watched it, you must go and watch Stranger Things on Netflix. It's absolutely beautiful, riveting, and very child focused. So what is the eliminating disruption rule 1? Rule 1 is called student's expectation. You increase the expectations from the student. Use positive words like cooperation, concentration, innovative, listening, stay on task, stay focused, work hard, give me quality work, be a role model, respect, learn, contribute, enthusiastic, do your best, practice. You see, these are the words that become a part of your vocabulary as you go ahead. And when you expect great things from students perform great things. In psychology, there are two kind of people. One is when the expectations becomes high, students or people don't perform well. But then there are greater sports person like Usain Bolt. He says, when there are people cheering for me, I will run my best. There are cricketers like Virat Kohli who when a crowd shouts at them, they want to perform. And then there are people like Messi where the burden of expectation is so high, he reaches the final of a World Cup and he can't perform well. So there are people who are great at club level. To become a master, you need to perform at the world stage. I hope our students are world performers. Let me give you a case study. Library. If your expectations are clear in a library, believe me, it would be a great learning place. I always ask my teachers, what is library all about? And most of the answers are books. And believe me, library is never about the books. A library is about conversations. A library is opening a world to a different kind, a magical world, a world of fiction, biographies. You're walking with Mandelas and Obamas and Malalas, and non-fiction. You're going to Wizard of Oz. You're talking to Matilda. You are talking to BFG. You are in a Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. I'm sorry, talking about all of Roald Dahl, but there is Charles Dickens, Great Expectations. There is Oliver Twist. You see, the expectations of a library is conversations, and when you are clear, when your school does it, that is what makes a great school. Remember from a first episode we spoke about the 3 L's of a school: the library, the lavatories, the restrooms, and the labs, the laboratories. Believe me, your discipline will be at the peak and pinnacle if these 3 are set in order and motion. Number 1. So now out of the 12 rules, number 5 rule and first of today is when our expectations are unclear. Now, this is what I said I'll promise to explain in detail. It's very simple. When a mother tells a child or you tell your daughter that behave yourself well, it is so ambiguous, it is so uncertain. What do you mean by great behavior? What is the expectation? Should I not shout? Should I not jump on the sofa? Should I not ask for extra candy? Unless you specify, you are creating unclear expectations and thus unclear consequences. Example. Empty warnings. So a lot of time we warn our child but never follow up on them. If you don't do it, I'll make you stand in the sun. Or if you do it, I'll make you stand in the sun the whole day. Would you want a child to be sunburned? If not, please control your language. That's not the language you speak to them. You see, your threats are non-effective and void. And this is where the problem happens. So you tell a child, there is a psychologist called Dr. Nancy Darling, and she says that safety and predictability is important, and consistency in what you say. I'll repeat what I said. She said safety and predictability. Your child breaks a rule and you tell a child I'll punish and you don't punish. The child breaks a rule again, you promise the child to punish again, you don't punish, and what happens is the parent is actually leading a child to keep doing it and you are not following up on your action. I hope this is clear to you. Please, when you tell a child behave well, tell them my example of behave well is don't shout and be gentle. 2 things. Every time only introduce 2 rules of good conduct and that's all. The 6th or the second point as in today is students' ignorance of expected behavior. Very correct. These young children are unaware what you mean by good behavior. In classrooms, don't shout. Should I not shout when I know the answer? Don't stand up when a teacher comes in. Should I stand up even when the class is going on? Absolutely not. I would like my children to wish me and any etiquette is fine, but when a class is going on, please don't. I worked a lot with Tohoku University in Japan, and one thing I learned from the Japanese is they would never allow a school bell to ring in the middle of a classroom. Seriously. So what happens is, even if a second classroom is going on, this classroom cannot be disrupted or interrupted. Why are we not doing these follow-up rules? You see, what we are teaching them, our children, is to lie. by not telling them how good behavior should be, the more they do bad behavior, they give excuses. And you know the Pinocchio effect? The Pinocchio effect is when this little cartoon boy ever told a lie, his nose completely increased in length until it became so long everybody knew he's a liar. Research says when people lie, they touch the nose. Actually, in the Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky's testimony, Bill Clinton touched his nose almost 21 times, knowing that he actually lied in the testimony. Strange, isn't it? Please don't make liars of your children. Young children bring a lot of manners and cognitive habits to the classroom from the home. And if you're a parent and listening to it, right, that is where it starts. Charity begins at home. Good manners and cognitive habits. What is cognitive habit? Cognitive habits are habits which are born out of regular use. Right? To make you brush your teeth is motivation. So you brush your teeth, you're motivated, you brush your teeth every day. To make you brush your teeth twice in a day is inspiration. I will only be able to inspire my child if I brush my teeth twice myself. To say no to a child picking up a mobile phone is motivation, but making yourself not do it is inspiration. And I really feel these are ground rules. No eating in the class is a ground rule. A child says, I didn't know it, miss. So you make a rule that please do not eat in the classroom until I allow you. Or I have a rule where don't ask me to drink water. I mean, water is a fundamental right. Come on, please ask the people who are working with charity waters in Africa how difficult it is. If you are thirsty, drink the water. So you're not interrupting the classroom and you're making a ground rule. My last slide as an example to the parent here, and all of us teachers begin as parent, is good rules begin at home. So you tell a child, clean your room. If there are crayons, spilled milk, shoes are in the rack, clothes are all over, you ask a child, I will not give you the goodie, or I'll not play with you, I'll not spend enough time, you can't go cycling unless you clean your own room. This becomes a great example. I got a beautiful video of a friend of mine about Japan, and I love this whole country as a disciplined country, where the Japanese spectators were cleaning up the stadium after the team lost a World Cup 2018 match in Russia. Believe me, that's a country I would wish to have education system from. I am your host Dawood Waid from skyeducation.in. You can, tell your feedbacks at my email at dawood@skyeducation.in, or you can tweet with my handle CEO Teacher. Until then, see you next time. Hopefully you had a great session today. Your feedbacks are always welcome. Bye bye and good day.